So, students of CPA, it's another perfect evening we meet for this session of financial reporting and analysis. So, in the financial reporting and analysis, we have these subtopics, and these subtopics are the one which will be able to create the entire syllabus of financial reporting and analysis. So, I will be looking at group accounting, published financial statements. Under published financial statements, we have preparations of a statement of profit or loss, statement of changes in equity, statement of financial position, and we have preparations of cash flow statements. We'll look at partnership, where we have amalgamation of partnership businesses. So you can amalgamate two partnership businesses to one. You can amalgamate two partnership businesses to one, then convert to limited company, or you can just do conversion of a partnership business to limited company. We'll be able to look at branch accounting, that is local independent branches and the dependent branches. We look at financial analysis of financial statements using ratios and common size method. So the topics I've mentioned, that is subtopics, sorry. The subtopics I've mentioned from number 1 to 5 are the major ones. I mean they are major ones because they will consume most of our time for the 2 months remaining. From topic 6, that is accounting for the professional firms, accounting for income taxes, accounting for leases, accounting for agricultural activities, contracts, cooperatives, IPSAs 1 and 24, pension schemes, borrowing cost. So from number 6 to number 15, these are just very simple topics of which I will be able to do around 1 or 2 questions for each, and it will be done. So for today's session, I would like to start with accounting for the professional firms. But as time goes by, that is by mid next month, I will be able to embark on group accounting or consolidation, so that first we cover the first 5 before we go back to doing another work which could have remained in the topic 6 to topic in the subtopic 6 to subtopic 15. So let's start with accounting for the professional firms. I can see some students still joining. I can admit them before we continue. In a few, then we continue. Yes. So, here I will be talking about accounting for income taxes. Not accounting for income taxes, accounting for the professional firms. Accounting for the professional firms. Accounting for the professional firms. So these are the firms operated by the professional practitioners. Like now the advocates of the High Court. Like now we have the advocates of the High Court. We have the advocates of the High Court. We have accountants. Accountants are professionals. Doctors. So under these firms, remember they prepare the books of accounts so that they determine their bottom line. Are they operating at a profit or loss? So due to that, we need to know various terms used in accounting for the professional firms. Like now, which is the major income in a professional firm? is all about the cost charged to clients. Cost charged to clients. What the clients was done what? Charged. Cost charged to amount payable to the firm. The amount payable to the firm. Then we can talk about work in progress. So remember that work in progress, this is the work not yet completed. It can be either at start of the year, or at the end. So when I say at start, I mean at start of the year or at the end of the year. So the work not yet completed as at the start of the year or as at the end of the year. We can go ahead to talk about disbursements. We can talk about disbursements. So disbursements are disbursements to disperse, from the word disperse, to disperse something. So disbursements under this is a payment made on behalf of the client. A payment made on who? On behalf of the client. So remember that as a professional practitioner, like an advocate, you are representing your client. Then that client, at some point, you can make some payment on his behalf. So that is a disbursement. So a disbursement is a payment made on behalf of the client. So to the firm, that disbursement is an asset. It's an asset because the client must pay the firm. So it's a disbursement, a payment made on behalf of the client. A payment made on behalf of the client. I don't think if there's anything else. That is the major thing, nothing else. Those are some of the key terminologies you need to know. Then statements, books of accounts maintained here. The books of accounts. And we have the office account. We have the office account. We have number 2, the client's account. The client account. Number 3, we're going to talk about statement of what? A statement of profit. Statement of profit or loss. And we can talk about number 4, statement of financial position. Statement of financial position. So let's talk about office account, and we talk about client's account a bit. The office account and the client's account a bit. So I want to talk about office account and client's account. So these two, under they are sitting, the August 2024, question 5B. You asked to talk about this office account and you talk a bit about client's account. So let's talk about office account. So for the office account, for you to understand the office account, look at these notes. So when we talk about the office account, it's an account used to record the amount recovered from the clients that belongs to the office. Amount used to record the amount recovered from the clients. So today you are an advocate, you are representing your clients. So this account is usually the amount you have recovered from the clients that belongs to the office. It's used to record disbursements made on behalf of the clients. I've already talked about that. What's the disbursement? A payment made on behalf of the client. So use it to record that disbursement. That in the client's personnel account office, account can either have a nil or debit balance, but not a credit balance. So it can either have a nil or a debit balance, but not a credit balance. The office account in the business bank account is used to record transactions involving the business money. What? Business money only. Remember, it's an office account. So the office account in the business bank account in the business bank account is used to record transactions involving the business money only. So in that sitting, remember I've said it was part of question 5B of August 2024. So you could have mentioned one of the points out of the 4 points I've listed, and that is how you could have mentioned 2 points, not one. You could have mentioned any 2 points, so that they multiply by half, you get your 1 mark. So you could have mentioned even the first 2, that it's account used to record amount recovered from the clients that belongs to the office, or it's used to record disbursements made on behalf of a client. And the third one is also easier, that the office account in the business bank account is used to record transaction involving business money only. Let's talk about the client's account. 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 So what can you say about the client's account before we talk about it? Abdi, what can you say about the client's account? It's used to do what? Kumar, what can you say about the client's account? The client. You are the client now. The office is preparing your account. Remember, it's the office which prepares your account. So what can they record? What can this account record? You have wronged someone. You are sued. You have an advocate. Then now there's this firm which is preparing your books. So there's a client's account prepared by the office. What can they record there? There's someone who said under the chart that, let me read. It's used to record transactions. Which transactions? Any amount paid to the client after settlement of case. Another point. So we can say this, We can say this. Also, it was having 1 mark. The client's account is used to record transactions carried out on behalf of the client. Yes, any transactions carried out on behalf of the client, it's recorded here. There was some of the transactions the office was carrying out on behalf of the client. It's recorded here. The account is used to record transactions carried out on behalf of the clients. The account can have either a nil balance or a credit balance. Nil balance or a credit balance, but not a debit balance. The clients accorded in the business bank account, the client accorded in the business bank account is used to record money received or paid on behalf of the client. Money received or paid on behalf of the client. So out of the 3 points, you could have mentioned any 2. They multiply by half, you get your 1 mark. So now the next thing is all about statement of profit or loss. And you need to know about statement of financial position. The statement of profit or loss and the statement of financial position. So for the statement of profit or loss, remember that here you need to talk about incomes, then you raise expenses. Under the statement of profit or loss, you talk about incomes. After incomes, deduct what? Deduct your expenses. For the statement of a financial position, remember it's all about assets. You classify non-current assets, current assets. Then you talk about capital. You go to the non-current liabilities, then current. So for that one, for us to talk about statement of profit or loss and statement of financial position, let's embark on the August 2024. August 2024. Question 5, C. Because already we have answered B and C. We have already answered B, sorry. We have already answered B. So let's look at C. August 2024, question 5, C. So let me display the question. Already you have the question. I shared it today morning. So I don't have to share it again. I remember very well I shared this question. So this was our sitting as paper. So we are looking at question 5. Looking at question 5. C. Because already I have answered B. B was explained the following terms. Explain the following terms as used in the accounts of professional practitioners. So we have talked about office account. We have talked about client account. C. The following trial balance was extracted from the books of Kakai and Kabase, a firm of practitioners, a firm of practicing advocates, not practitioners, a firm of practicing advocates as at 31st July 2024. We have cash at bank. So for the clients and for the office, we have the furniture fittings and library books. We talk about insurance expenses, disbursements on behalf of the client, accounts payable, work in progress. So you can see disbursement is an expense. Disbursement, that insurance is an expense, sorry. Disbursements on behalf of the client, I say this is an asset to the firm, a current asset. A current asset because a payment made on behalf of the client. The client would pay the firm. It's an asset. Accounts payable is a liability. Work in progress as at the start of the year, August, 1st August 2023. Because our financial year was ending 31st July 2024. Grants for the money held on their behalf. Grants for the money held on their behalf. Cost charged to clients, communication expenses, printing and stationery, rent and rates, salaries, drawings, capital accounts. Additional information. The uncompleted work on 31st July 2024 was valued at 3,525,000. Depreciation to be provided at 20% per annum on book value. On book value of the furniture fittings and library books. Statement of profit or loss for the year ended 31st July 2024. Statement of financial position as at 31st July 2024. So, statement of profit or loss. Let's start with the statement of profit or loss. So this one is Kakai, and Kabaze. So statement of what? Statement of profit or loss. Statement of profit or loss. Our financial year ends on 31st July. As at 31st July 2024. We have the shillings in thousands. And here we have shillings in thousands. We have the shillings in thousands and shillings in thousands there. So shillings in thousands, shillings in thousands. So you have there the copy version of the same. So we can start doing. So I said we start with incomes. We start with incomes. So which incomes? So we start with costs charged to the clients. Talk about cost charged to client. So the cost charged to the client, remember, by the end of the year, there is that work in progress. There is work in progress, end year, and the start. So the end year work has not yet been done. Eh? It's not yet. It's not yet done. Eh? It's a work to be done in the next financial year. So that is correct. The work to be done in the next financial year. Let me pick my calculator, then we continue. Because I know there's calculations to be done. There we go. So there's this work in progress at the end of the year. That is what you start with because it's not yet done. Eh? Note 1. Additional information number 1. Uncompleted work. Add with what you charged during that year. Cost charged to the clients. So what you charged the clients in that period. From the trial balance. So from the trial balance, I can see there's 37,500. Remember the work as at the start of the year, which is under the trial balance, work in progress as at 1st August. That one will be catered by what you have paid during the year. So we have to deduct the work in progress as at the start of the year. Start of the year, deduct. Under the trial balance. Under the trial balance, I can see 5,520. So 3525 plus 37,500 minus 5520. So this is 35,505. So if there is any other incomes, add other incomes. If there is another income, other incomes, add. There is none. There is no other incomes. Then now you raise expenses. You can start from the trial balance. You can decide to go to the additional information. So we can start from the trial balance. So there's first expense, which is insurance. So the insurance is 12 what? 1275. Then the next one after insurance, there's communication expenses. From that question, I can see communication expenses. From the trial balance, I think you can see communication expenses. So the communication expenses is 2730. After communication expenses, we have printing and stationery from the trial balance. This is direct work of copying and pasting, printing and stationery. So the printing and stationery, that is 5250. After the printing and stationery, we talk about rent and rates. We talk about the rent and rates. Rent and rates is 9,000. After the rent and rates, there is salaries I can see from the trial balance. So the salaries from the trial balance is 10,800. Finally, we go to the additional information number 2. There's depreciation of furniture, fittings, and library books. Depreciation of a furniture, fittings, and library books. It's 20% of which value? The furniture, fittings, and library books is mention at least the value. Kumal, Caroline, we have Dell, we have James, we have Ruth. Depreciations of furniture, fittings, and library books. Furniture, fittings, and library books. 20% of the value for the furniture, fittings, and library books is the value just
6750.
6750.
Yes.
So 20% of that 1350. 1350. So 1275 plus 2730 plus 5250 plus 9000 plus 10800 plus 1350. That is 30405. 30405. So that we have a net profit of, so 35505 minus answer. That is use your calculator as well. 5,100. That is what I have from my end. All right. So this one was having 4 marks. This one was having 4 marks. So out of these entries you could have done, it's 1. So they needed what? Any? So they could have marked this 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have 9 entries. They needed any 8. Any 8, correct. Any 8. Any 8 out of the 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So any 8, they multiply by half. You get your 4 marks. You get your 4 marks. So let's do the statement of financial position. Let's do the statement of what? Statement of financial position. So let's look at, let's say, Kakai and Kabaze. So statement of financial position. Statement of financial position as at which date? 31st July 2024. So we talk about shillings in thousands. So we talk about assets. We start with non-current assets. So under the non-current assets, we talk about furniture. We talk about the furniture. Fittings and library books. Furniture, fittings, and library books. Furniture, fittings, and library books. So the furniture, fittings, and library books. So we know that the value of this one is 67.50 minus depreciation. Depreciation is 13.50. That is the only non-current assets I can see. So I have 5,400. I go to the current assets. So under the current assets, yeah, remember our stock is the work we are doing. Goes for the published and other statement, we say closing stock. Here we have work in progress. So work in progress is our stock. Work in progress at end year. So this is the work not yet completed. That is an asset. The work not yet completed. That is your asset. A current asset. Once you are done, you will be paid. So work in progress at end year. It was 3,000. According to the equation, 525. Then after that, I can see, after that, Sorry for that. So after this, I can see from the trial balance, we have cash. Cash at bank. It was cash at bank. So cash at bank, but now for the client account. For the client's account and the office account. So for the client's account, it's 3,720. For the office, I can see is 8,300 and what? 55. Then after that, and again under the trial balance, there's a disbursement. I already remember I explained that disbursements on behalf of clients is a current asset. Disbursement on behalf of a client, the payment made on behalf of the client is your money as the firm. So the client will pay. So that is an asset to you. It's a current asset. So the value was 13,500. So up to this point, we have total assets. Then we talk about capital, and I can get this total anyway. 5,400 plus
29,100.
That was 21 or 34,500?
34,500.
34,500. When we talk about capital and liabilities, there is capital which this guy is pumped into this business, capital and liabilities. So capital. So the capital is
3,600.
They pumped 30 million. Remember that this one is in thousand, so it's 30,600,000. So add net profit. We are capitalizing the profit. It's good you capitalize your profit. So add it here. Rudisha kwa biashara. So net profit. Then there's drawings. Walichukua some money. They did some drawings of 9,000.
9,000.
That is 9 million. They have to sustain themselves. They have to do some drawings. Maybe they are also paying some people. They are paying the staff. So up to this point, we have 26 what?
700.
26,700. Is there non-current liability? Wrong term? Any long-term liability you can see? Is there any long-term? We don't have any long-term liability there. So we have current. We have the current liabilities. The current liabilities. So we talk about current liabilities. Current liabilities. So for the current liabilities, there is a creditors, the accounts payable. So the accounts payables is 4 million.
40,000.
40,80.
40,80. And there's one thing here you need to know, that even if they could have not mentioned that there's a disbursement, not a disbursement, there is this money which is held. There's this money which is held by the firm on behalf of the client. Even if they could have not mentioned that, they mentioned somewhere clients for money held on their behalf. So if they could have not mentioned that, client for money held on their behalf. On their behalf. You see this? Is this one here? You see this, cash at bank. There's this money held by the firm under the bank, but under the client's account. This money is not an asset to the firm. This money is not an asset to the firm. It's a liability. So you have to mention it under liability so that you cancel it out from here. But for this question, they were very specific. They went ahead to even mention this. Remember that under these clients for money held on their behalf, if you check, is it 3720, the same as this? It's the same.
Yes.
The same, yes.
That is the case. So we see total capital and liabilities.
34,500.
34,500. Okay, that is how it has balanced. Eh? So they were marking this way for this one. It was having 5 marks. 5 marks. It's not a must you score everything for you to get 5 marks. So out of these entries, you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Out of the 10, they needed any. They multiply, get your 5 marks. That is how marking is done. That is how marking is done. So any 5 out of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They don't mark totals. They mark entries. Entries are the one which are marked. So the only thing I've not done under this topic is whereby you need to understand on how the office account and the client's account is prepared. How we prepare an office and client's account. Once you know how you prepare that, and you are aware on how to prepare statement of a profit or loss and statement of financial position, we are done with that topic. There's a question I will pick for 2011 tomorrow, so that we can be able to solve that issue of knowing on how to prepare the office account and the client's account. So meanwhile, for today, I don't want to do a lot of things. It was our first class. So we'll be able to meet tomorrow. We do another question whereby we have an office account, client's account, then we do statement of profit or loss and the statement of financial position. Any question before I end this Zoom session? Any question? Any concern? Any comment? Any addition? Anything?
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
In the preparation for the one you've just mentioned, the client's account and the office account, does it also include cash book?
Yes, it includes cash book. It includes cash book. So yes, we will be able to do cash book. That question for 2011, that's cash book.
Okay.
We will even start with cash book.
Yeah.
And then go to client's account. So remember that under the cash book, that is where we have the column for office and clients. Office and clients. So the money coming in, you debit. Money going out, you credit. Cash in, debit. Cash going out, credit. Then we prepare client's account. We check on the debit side what the client owes the firm. Credit side, what the client has paid, so that the balancing figure is the amount outstanding. Go ahead and ask your question.
Will you share these videos after each class?
I will do so.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So I think we are good for today.
Yes, we are good. Thank you.
See you tomorrow, same time, same place. We continue with the same subtopic. Thank you for attending.
Thank you as well.
Thank you.